Simple Sean. A lot more resources went into that decision than I think you would believe. But as the boomers say, what's in a name? I am happy to inform you that by joining us today, you've won the opportunity to be our human test subjects in our experiment. This is the third simulation. This is the third simulation. That being said, this experiment is all about accountability. So anything that happens from here on out is your fault. Is your fault. I'm trying real hard to remember what the rest of the opening was. I had a decent one yesterday. Fuck. Whatever happens after this is your fault. We all chose to be here. So if something's going wrong, if you're having a bad day, it's because you made bad choices. Make better choices, or I need to work on that. If you had a bad day, I just made bad choices. Yeah, once we get it done, it'll be what it'll be. I have a crazy concept of the stand-up thing of just running it like 3 separate entities. So the 3 layers of the experience are your experience, our experience, and their experience. So like my experience is mine. You guys don't need to enjoy this. This is our experience. So like the people that want to be involved could come here and be involved, and the stage is my experience. That's where I am trying to orchestrate what I want everybody to feel. And that's kind of the way I think society works. Some of us never want to be on stage and always okay being in the crowd, never make it to that third ordeal, or their stage is much smaller than ours. Like a stage can just be a fire pit, smoking enjoyed by a fire pit. So I think I have a funny way to go through that. Well, funny, but I'm working out in my head right now. So the Universe Ball, obviously the Universe Ball is the title. Third Place Information Bureau presents a tinfoil hat time production live from Earth. Mental Masturbating, a Pat McAfee show Speakeasy featuring Simple Sean as Tinfoil HT. Woo-wee out the woohoo. Be where your feet are jam. This is simulation number 2. I think we keep brainstorming here, but like sometimes I need a break, and I just need to like, I don't need to like, but I just, I mean, I guess we transition to this here. I really think it would be cool to, where are we at here? All right, let's do this. So a couple weeks ago, lost encounter. When does it start? Like, how do I? I need the timer. It's a bad production value. Starts at 5:30. All right, that's bad. All right, so this. All right, so a couple weeks ago or a couple days ago or whatever, they were talking about daylight savings time, and um, the conversation was super interesting. And like my wild brain was listening to it, and and at some point in the conversation, Boston Connor said something to the effect of like, uh, we just we don't need time. It shall be the same time around the world, uh, and the statement was made like you shouldn't don't get him started on his concept of time. And I was like, ooh, I really would like to. Um, I would be intrigued because I have some wild thoughts on time. Like, I don't disagree with the the world should have the same time all the time. Why does the time at which, like, if you think about it, the time at which you have a meeting nowadays doesn't make a difference, right? Like like, if you're in the Eastern time zone and you have time zones and like you schedule something for 1 p.m. but they're in West Coast time and they don't tell you that, and then you schedule it, it's like 3 hours one week and 2 hours the other. So why not have the same time? Like, I agree with Boston Cottage. Like, that's time is dumb. Like, if you think about it, you in your day-to-day life, you just care if it's light or dark outside or hot or cold, so you know what you're wearing. So like midday would be the only thing that you really cared about, and that would reset daily. Um, so like you would really only need one time for like your day-to-day life. So you only need like 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. or whatever, like when you're trying to coordinate things outside of your immediate jurisdiction. Mm, didn't say that right at all. Um, but yeah, like I think we should do like I've thought about this a lot. I think we should fix the calendar too while we're at it. Like, instead of just like fixing daylight savings times, why not just fix the whole fucking thing? Um, the I don't remember what calendar it is I saw. I definitely didn't make it up, and I'm stealing it from somebody. I think Kodak used this calendar back in like the 80s and was super productive with it. But I would change it to a 13-month calendar, and every month would be 28 days. So you so you your your week always starts, your month and your week always start on the same day, and your month and your week always end on the same day. So you don't have like random payments are always coming out on like every third Wednesday or every eighth Wednesday or whatever, instead of like the 28th of the month, which is a Wednesday and a Tuesday, and it fucks everything up. So if you do 13 months, I think it's 364 days. And then we just get a natural party day, um, if we did that calendar, and you'd have 13 months. Um, and if you do the 13 months, um, the the months are kind of irrelevant of and in themselves, because the only thing that matters. Oh wow, we went off the rails with this one. the only thing that like then that's where you get to where all of these statues are lined up with the equinoxes and then the whatever the top and the bottom of whatever they're called, because it was based on where the sun hits the the north and south aren't the same. The extreme north and south aren't the same, so you would want to keep track of that because it would keep track of where you are in the rotation of whatever the rotation is of us around the greater rotation that we keep track of. So like if we circle, that is one rotation, and then we circle the sun, that is another rotation, and we're really only paying attention to how we circle the sun, but more than likely the sun is also circling something in the middle, and that we don't keep track of that yet, but that's an influential thing on our time where we are on the space continuum. Yeah, this did not go anywhere near the way that I thought it was going to. I think his weed is crazy. Whatever, it's okay. But yeah, time is definitely made up. I think we could definitely have one time zone. And if you think about it, if we go interstellar, if you're on Mars, are you really going to be able to care about like what time zone you're in on Earth? I mean, that makes things overcomplicated. So like Elon's probably going to come in and make Earth just one time because he doesn't want to, that's too much fucking work to to coordinate the time it is on Mars to the time it is on Earth and the time it is on Earth according to you. It's just like it's too much work. So it's just going to be one time. And I think it's going to be like it's going to end up being like a universal time. So time is going to be a universal hour. That's what we're going to start living under. Time is a universal hour. So our phones will set to a universal hour. It won't just be Earth. So right now it would be like 12:18 everywhere. If it was decided that here was the time we were using. That's a wild progression. What if you only had, yeah. If you change the calendar, would you change the months? Like, we'd no longer have names, we'd just use numbers. So you'd have 113. Would it be day, month, year, right? Because you're going in order of, because like some places go month, day, year. That doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, I guess it does because you weren't keeping track of, at one point, you were just keeping track of months and years because days kind of just, nothing moved that fast. And then things started moving faster, so we needed to invent something to keep track of that, and that's when we got days. And then things started moving so fast we needed to get hours. And now everything is moving so fast that we're in like per seconds. And like I think we're kind of to the point at which we can't get any faster. So we just want to slow down, and getting rid of all of the ways in which we keep track of time would make everything seemingly slow down. Huh. So the only time that we really need is something to keep track of midday, so we know when a new day starts. If we wanted to keep track of that, we'd have a calendar with 28 days. That's 4 7-day weeks. That would give us 360. What is 13 times 4 times 7? Hold on. So if we have, it's 364. So we would have one makeup day, whereas which you would correct you would self-correct all of the things that would be off by any of your leap years or whatever. So you get rid of leap year on your little yearly day where you reset all of the universal clocks and the calendars, boom. And then you start the next 13-month period. So that's how we would do, that's how time should work. I think that would be much easier for everybody. I think we should just fix, that's how we should fix time. Just need to know when noon is. So it'd be like when the little fire whistle or the church bells ring at noon in like the little town that tells everybody, hey, it's midday. You should be halfway through whatever it is that you're doing. And then you would just count 24 hours to the next point. And every day it just boom, resets to that being 0. Boom, so they're never off. And then the universal time, that wouldn't be able to reset daily because there's too many factors involved. So you would need an alternate way to do that. If you can't do it daily, weekly is not really a good way to do it. Monthly isn't a really good way to do it, but yearly, 3 steps out, daily, monthly, yearly. So there's only one bridge in between. Resetting the universe makes sense to do that at noon on the extra day, the 365th day. Boom, solved it all. And now everything is, the first is always a Tuesday, and all of those things. And then you get all confused because you're like, oh no, my birthday is on this day, but it changes every year, which maybe will lead us to believe that maybe birthdays aren't that important and we can stop having so many fucking birthday parties. Like, hooray, you made it an orbit around the sun. Congratulations. We didn't eat you. That's a weird consequence. If you had a 13th calendar month, I guess it would be the same as a rotation, so it wouldn't matter. It'd be wild though. But no, it wouldn't matter. So it'd be the same. Just be a different. What would your birthday be if every month was 28 days? Let's find out. That is an interesting question. I'm going to ask Grok, and this is probably a terrible idea. But okay. So assume a calendar is now 13 months with a leap day every year. What day would be May 1st on this new calendar that the months are numbers between 0, let's say 1 and 13. It's actually 0 and 12, but 1 and 13. Day would May 1st be. How hard it would be to like time is good for measuring things, but when you don't want to measure things, it would be weird. Leap day. Oh, wow. So May 1st is actually going to be 5/9. So you move 9 days. Wow, it's super interesting. Super interesting. It's weird. It's very interesting. Yeah, Kodak used a 28-day calendar, and they like decreased errors and all sorts of other things. It was like way more productive, but it never got adjusted for some reason. But it would make life so much easier to just have every day start on a Sunday, or every week start on a Sunday, and every weekend on a Monday, and every first of the month, the first day of the month be a Sunday, and the last day of the month be a Saturday. Oh, there's a joke in there somewhere. I just rambled about that for a long time. I have wild thoughts. I solve a lot of problems. I have the mentality that says, I don't know what if the word is, but a rule, an expectation, a standard. You can only complain about something 3 times. After the third time, in order to complain about it, you must have executed an attempt at a solution. So there's a lot of words to say. If you're complaining about it for 3 times, you either need to solve the problem or accept it as a reality. So I don't really accept a lot of things as reality. So I solve a lot of problems. But I was thinking about this earlier when I was working on the the stand-up version of it. Um, I don't remember if it was indifference or ignorance or what it was, but like the opposites of oh, it was the saying "dancing with destiny" is a derivative of dancing with the devil. So it's interesting that they're able to be used in the same sentence, which would indicate to me that they're opposites. Um, so if destiny sounds positive, if they're the same thing, what is the connotation that means that makes it necessary for there to be two different things? And it's interesting that it's the perspective of the person, right? If you're if you apply these to life, like if you're it applies uh, it applies like um, it applies on your perception of everyone's experience. Um, like porn, people have an opinion about porn, good, bad, or indifferent. Um, but at the end of the day, it's just somebody making a choice on their experience. That's not gonna work. That's not a good explanation. Nope. Fuck. There was a line there. There's a thread. Fuck me sideways. So the thread is there's good and bad dancing, moving, causing heat, causing friction. And movement is what generates life. So there are generates action, and action is what generates reaction, and reaction is where you and somebody else's a reaction to a reaction is where you get an experience, and an experience is where reality exists. Um, I guess I probably should have made sure I put the. Do you want to know what the definition or what the difference between genius and insanity is? Um, both a genius, someone who's a genius, and someone who's insane, they both are doing something that they know um, is not going to has a very high likelihood of not going well for themselves. Um, ultimately, probably ending in some catastrophic demise. But they do it anyway because they think that they're the exception um, to whatever it is they're doing. Um, and what makes a genius is um, other people accepting the insanity. Um, it's not as funny as I wanted it to be. Fuck, we need to make that smoother. Um, the difference is the genius. Like, maybe it's something about it's a genius is just time and acceptance. It's the rotation of truth, and the truth is just lies that we all agree to tell ourselves. So if we all agree to tell ourselves that I'm a genius, then I'm a genius. Um, but I feel like I got to prove that, and how do you prove that you're a genius? That's a very interesting question. But I guess you solve everybody's problems. So I have, and now we have this experiment that we're doing, and I don't. It's wild because I don't know what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, but I know that I should be doing it, and um, I don't really fucking care what happens as long as I can keep things going the way that they're going. Um, but if things go well, I would be totally down to uh, make some wild accusations and see how stupid I am. See how keeping it simple, stupid ultimately is the answer to the world's problems and how it actually works. I don't know. I'm fucking stoned. I don't know if I like this weed. It's not happy pensive weed. This is like dark, dark in the weeds, weed shit. Mm. Definitely don't have like a happy vibe to them. I definitely have wild like the idea for the stand up thing is like we get that. So so the premise of the story is that we're running through is we want to do that intro, which this is gonna sound super fucking weird. It's gonna be our opening prayer, like legitimately, mockingly yet seriously starting religion for stand-up comedy. Um, um, so yeah, activity. Starts 31. All right, so yeah, the premise of this is that we're going to start a mockingly or seriously. Like I think it's a cool foundation for a continuing story arc, kind of like a George Carlin. Like he always was pointing out he had like all of these contrarian things, like 7 words you can't say on TV, and that kind of went into a whole bunch of other words and his rants or whatever. He was genius, but he never offered any solutions. So like, what if you had a George Carlin that offered solutions? Now I'm never going to claim that I'm a George Carlin by any stretch of the imagination. More like Matt Rife, if he forgot where the gym was and wasn't really that funny. Um, I'm probably more that style. Um, Matt Rife is obviously a strapping young man and a very funny individual, and I am at this particular moment in my life not either of those things and strangely comfortable with it. Um, so the premise of this goes into I had a gym and I had a gym. I opened it on November 11th, 2019. I opened it up in the garage of my girlfriend's house, and uh, knew that it was in violation of the HOA, but we did it anyway. Uh, Getting ready, we were getting to a point where I could probably afford to move out of the garage into my own space. Took about 5 months, 4 months. Getting very excited about it. We were searching for places on March 1st, 2020, and on March 18th, we were about ready to sign a lease on a place, and then 2020 happened. Um, March 2020, March 20th, 2020, um, shut down everything, which ended up being a short-term uh, gain for the business, but ended up ultimately killing the business, which at the time I thought was a horrific thing. Um, I thought that my dream has always been to be uh, not everyone's best friend, because that's so fucking annoying. I don't want the expectation to have to do anything. But like, I want to help people that want to be helped. That's why I liked owning a CrossFit gym. That's why I liked training, because people would come in and want to better themselves, and I know how to help them. So it's what I did. And it was great. But unfortunately, or fortunately, I think um, I failed, and that caused me to uh, during that whole process, it was like a very stressful time, and I was very depressed, very anxious, uh, and I knew every time I've talked to somebody, they always want to put me on meds because I am sporadic. I am a lot. I think that I need to slow down. I think that that's I need. Yes, I need to slow down, but I don't need medicine to do it. I just need the opportunity to do it. I need to be able to experience it, right? Or as some people will say, we need the time to do it. But how can you have time if you never take time? Ooh, value proposition. That goes into a whole bunch of other things. Um, where were we at? Weren't there. Um, yeah, so very depressed. Started smoking weed with my girlfriend at the time. She uh, I think she's an, a retired pothead. What are you in? Like this joke, I want to work and I want to get it in there, but it's like, what are you? The saying is that you never retire, you don't retire from the Marines or from Special Forces. Um, you're always Special Forces. You're just not active. So there you go. She's not an active pothead, but apparently in college she was a giant pothead. Um, so like we started smoking in the hot tub, uh, called it the pot tub, and we would just sit in the hot tub, naked in the backyard, and looking up at the stars. And like the first time we got high, I got so stoned, and I was hungry. I don't remember what we were. I was hungry and I wanted to eat something, so I know what it was. We would get these TV dinners from a place called Butchered Beat. Great. It was a great place. Then they got too big. It was sad. Uh, but they helped me through some homeless times. I had pre-cooked meals, you just fucking microwave right there. Boom, boom, it was great. It's like home cooked TV dinners. It's a great idea. Um, I guess it happens everywhere, but I like these ladies. They're awesome. They're not dead, but I haven't seen them in like forever. So hope they're doing fine. So I open up the microwave and I put the dinners in and I close the microwave and I just sit there and I stare at the microwave. Now, I do panic a little bit because I don't remember how to use the microwave. And I'm just standing there and she looks at me and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm just standing there and I have to say like, I don't know. Um, no, that's yeah. So like I forgot. I got so high one time that I forgot how to use a microwave. Um, but we would have like really deep conversations. Like we found out that owls don't have buttholes. Um, she's never seen the dark side, the far side of the moon. Our house doesn't have gutters, and the hot tub has an uneven distribution of bidet jets in it. Um, those were all fun. We did learn about the Erie Canal also, which made us so interested that we went back home to see my parents so we could go to the Erie Canal Museum. Those were fun. Um, and I say that because one of the things when you get a mentor to start a business, which I don't recommend because they're not really there to, I shouldn't say that. I don't recommend doing the mentorship that I paid for. I guess I did get a lot out of it. I shouldn't say that, but definitely I didn't get what I expected to get out of it. But I guess as the Rolling Stone song says, get what you get what you put in, and sometimes you get what you deserve. That I don't know. Maybe I'm making that one up, but it sounds cool. Um, I totally forgot what I was talking about. What was I talking about? I don't remember what I was talking about. Fuck. Fuck. Get what you put in. I was talking about hot tub, uneven distribution. Oh fuck, that's my voice. Holy shit, scared the crap out of me. Let's go on something like this. So she was my smoking buddy essentially, and at some point she decided that she didn't want to do it anymore. So I ended up uh, smoking by myself, um, and my brain works in a way that I run through. Like I think simulation theory is real, because like I don't know if we need to like loosen up the definition of simulation or like we're legit in a computer program, but like we I just simulate things in my brain, and I did it so much that like I jokingly or maybe really found found whatever, like what I think is the definition of God, which is basically just the gentle force that um, sorry, um, yeah. So I jokingly or seriously or whatever found God, and like in the conversations I had with myself, which is essentially what talking to God is talking to yourself as if you were somebody that you wanted to talk to, which isn't that what, like, that's kind of what God is, right? It's really crazy if God answers you, but we're all looking for the answer, so why not be the answer that you're looking for? Uh, Weird. That's a weird statement. I don't know if I like that. Um, But yeah, so like we decided that I've always been funny. Even when I'm saying crazy shit, it's been a good time, and in a small group, I'm entertaining. Um, and I've always had good stories to tell people, and like I drive for a ride share in the morning, and I tell some funny, quippy stories on longer trips, and people always laugh, or not always laugh, but for the most part, there's like an experience of maybe not funny, but like either an like, oh, this is not funny, or ha ha ha, this is funny. But either way, if you get enough of them, you can't tell the difference between ha 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 and because you don't know where it started. Um, so as a comic, you're kind of looking for either of those things. And I thought I had some stories to give both. Uh, so I paced around my ex girlfriend, current person, uh, kitchen island, uh, working on this story of the title of the part was "Gay is the Way." um, Basically goes through a wild rundown of like straight and gay is not really the way we should be categorizing ourselves. But if we had to categorize it, gay would be the way. um, that's an interesting mind was an interesting go about. But I try to say the first part of that, and I keep fumbling it, and then I did it. And the first time I went up, there was somebody to banter with, um, and I did okay. Like once I got off of it, I just kind of went in with the flow with that person. It was like cool. You know, somebody came over and was like, "Hey, you're really good at this. Keep with it." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And the second time I went up, no one talked to me, and I fucking sucked. Um, but this time I noticed there was a pattern because there's this one guy who runs the place, um, and he doesn't run the place. He runs the open mic night. And the second time he said the same thing that he said the first time. He made like a joke because I always wear a hoodie. Um, the reason I wear a hoodie is because for a multitude of reasons. One, it makes me look most like a minister or a monk or like a holy guy. Uh, Two, is an homage to the Unabomber because I think he was the last genius of our time. Like he called everything that's happening, and I don't agree with his methods of alerting the people, but like what he was saying wasn't wrong, and maybe we should like heed the warning at this point and make a change. And I don't want, like, I use the phrase purposely perform as, and like the marquee for this is tinfoil HT. So this is the third layer of the experience. Like you have your internal, like you have the experience internally that you're not aware of, that's your origin. And then you have the experience that you're aware of, that's your one. Then you have the experience that you're aware of with other people, right? And that's like level two. And then the third level, and the furthest level that we can truly know that we're experiencing, or we're only aware that we're experiencing, is the experience of others on their influences. Like your girlfriend experience with her mother during Christmas time. Like that's the level out you're going to try to experience with somebody, and you can't do that. So you have to focus on that escalated quickly. The fuck was I even going here? Yeah. So in any event, he always kept telling me, made a joke about my hoodie, something usually about, it wasn't about the Unabomber. If it was, it would be awesomer. But it was about a school shooter. Is usually the one that they made a reference to as a joke, or I'd hate to see you bomb because you'd blow the whole place up. Maybe that was a Unabomber joke, so maybe kudos to them. And he always also made a comment of how I needed a punchline. And so he did that twice, and like I didn't go back for like 6 months, and I just kind of sat in the backyard, got stoned with God, and ran through simulations and kept asking big questions and solving real problems, and coming up with like weird answers to questions that you don't think are problems until you run through these things, and like how do you solve them all in a way that's uniform across no matter what, because really everything is just the same as something else, but you just have to treat them equally. And the indifference, this should be minor, it should be less than 3%, or pi, somewhere between 2 and 4% is an acceptable deviation. Anything above 3% you need to be careful of and be prepared to like nip it in the bud, because you need to make a choice, and you always need to keep it until you understand it. You need to keep it below 3%, because once you don't understand it and it gets above 3%, it's kind of going to do its own thing. If that makes sense. But that escalated quickly also. I don't even know where I was going with that. Like this is the brain, boys. This is what this is meant to be. I don't know if I like it, but we'll get there. Yeah, but like this is how we got to the thing. This is the backstory, so you kind of have to have this down. It makes sense. I understand. I'm trying to make the internal part of me is not comfortable with what is happening right now. So I'm trying to make the internal part of me, the one, like the 0 and the 1, are not okay with doing this. And I think what makes them okay makes that part of me more okay with this is taking the time to like tell their side of what's happening, because I think their side is going to get that side of people when they get to the level that they're on a stage. That part of them doesn't ever get to be heard, and if it is necessary to be heard, it's usually after something catastrophic happened, so you can never tell if what they're portraying is authentic or if what they're portraying is a reaction to the reaction. Both are the same thing, and both are achieve the same purpose or the same goal, so like I feel I probably should be indifferent to it either way. But for some reason I think it's important to document this from before anybody cared, just in case somebody cared, because they should know what I actually cared about. And like the joke is that the only thing that I've really ever cared about, or the thing that I care about, is like having each day where I sit in the backyard and smoke with my people, some of my people, and as long as that happened, then that is my perfect day. And like the joke goes into how this whole is a big maze to. The idea is just to present the maze of like reality and how we're all in this simulation and we're all in each other's simulation. And even though we don't think we influence somebody um, with the way that we do stuff, we do. And like this whole thing is a giant illustration of how we are truly all in this together. And if somebody has a crazy idea, if you get enough people with the same amount of, somebody comes up with an insane idea, and enough people are okay with being that kind of insane, that person has the opportunity to become a genius or a priest, which is the joke, the underlying purpose of why we're starting a religion. Because longest, what is the longest running comedian in history is a clergyman. If you think about what a comedian is, like a comedian is simply somebody who's read the book and offers a perspective that you share an experience with. Most likely, you want it to be a good experience, but like Old Testament people, like, isn't that shit scary? I thought that was bad, the death and shit. And then you have the Jesus people, and it's like make love, not war. People, but no matter what, like there's always been like one dude who stands in front of a group of people and just reads the book and then gives a perspective on it. Like, isn't that what stand-up comedy is? Like, I'm watching the same news, same shit, experiencing the same world that you are, but I have this take on it, and maybe you find it amusing, maybe no. Um, but that's the joke. It's like that's the line. Like I'm trying to make that funny, uh, but that's like the premise of it. So if we don't think that priests are funny. So if I'm a stand-up priest, then I need to create a religion, and so I've created a religion. And it's like, how do I hysterically unveil a religion and make a joke about how this is an experiment to prove that God and I can save the world, and in doing so, we've started a religion, and we're gonna start a stand-up comedy religion, so we can do this all day, because that's where the story goes with the that's where the story goes with the MC of the open mic night. I smoked and got so pissed and like came up with this fucking skit where I just tell the guy, you know what, well, where's that fucking retard? Um, Fuck you. Uh, you don't know what comedy is. Uh, you don't know, or you don't. Fuck you. You don't know what's happening here, and you don't know what's happening here. Uh, and then I go into like how the whole thing is. Like I don't know, it was not. It seems this one I don't think I'll ever say out loud because it doesn't even sound good when I try to like compile it to say it. Like it sounds okay in my brain, but it's like nope, nope, that was not ever going to be received the way that you're thinking it. And that's okay because it's not really relevant. But in the new thing, I look at him, I say fuck you and thank you. Um, I kind of use him as the example of why we live in a simulation. Like the first time that I make the statement of like, this is our second simulation. I think simulations are important and that we all live in them, um, for two reasons. I realize this two different ways at the same time. Um, First was I've been up here a few times, and each time I've bombed terribly. Um, One time I tried to end a joke with a poopy penis with corn on it. I think I tried to do that twice actually. Um, And then the first time was I didn't even make it through the first line until somebody started heckling me, and that seemed to be okay. But each time I've done it, it's always ended the same way, with a joke about killing people because I wear a hoodie, and the fact that I need punchlines in my routine. And for a comedian, that's a soul crushing feedback with no other direction. So I went home and I smoked a bunch of weed and started talking to God, and we realized that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Comedy isn't about punchlines and laughs. Comedy is about the art form of sharing, of real time sharing an experience inside of someone else's simulation. Like that's not funny at all, dude. But that's what art, like it's the art of sharing an experience inside someone else's simulation, because it is when the comedian is on stage, the audience is he is trying to create an experience with the audience, and the audience is participating through having an experience, which is what art is sharing the experience so someone else can have an experience. Movies are just you videotape an experience and you play it back so someone else can have an experience with that experience, if that makes sense. Music is the same way. MMA fighting, like anything that you do, anything that you do that you have that isn't regimented is art, kind of, because the opposite of art is information, and like there's no disputing the facts. I remember what they said in A Few Good Men. I don't like this weed. This is not happy weed, but I did not do very well on the countered time thing. I mean, I do think we should have a universal time that is based on a 28-day calendar for 13 months with one leap day every year to reset. We can reset noon, which is the only hour that really matters. Midday, we'll call it midday because that's the only thing that really matters. And then like, I don't know why it matters more, but whatever. Midday, and then you have a universal clock. So it's like May 1st would be 5/9 on that calendar. So it would be the 5th month and the 9th day. And that would solve all our problems. We don't have any more leap day. We don't have any more leap year. We don't have any more than anything. It all gets fixed. Like midday, it lines you up with the sun, which is the most important part of your circadian rhythm, and living within the rhythm of the night. No, the rhythm of nature. So you're in line with not only the sun, but you're also in line with the moon with the 28-day calendar, and then you have the rigidity of measurement, which is the universal clock and the updated 13-month calendar. So that's what you should post to. That's what Boston Counter should put together, or that's my theory on time. Is that time is made up, and if we wanted to truly live within balance of time, we should only care about the equinox and whatever the fall and solstice, winter solstice, and spring solstice, or summer solstice. I don't fucking know. We only care about those. And midday, which would explain why all of those ancient civilizations were obsessed with those things. But we also do need to have a non-bound, ooh, there's a fun word, time, where we just kind of make it up to measure it, and we arbitrarily pick a starting point and go. I think the leap day that you have every year, since 13 months is only 364 days, the 365th day you could reset universal time. At midday, So you basically punch in your number, boop, and it's midday on the leap day, so it all tracks up. So when you're setting those packages of digital information, it lines up exactly when it gives you that setup thing. I don't know why that matters. I feel like that some computer nerd somewhere appreciates that. Yeah. So I don't know. I'd be interested to hear anybody say it's about time. I think time is fun. I think we make it up. I don't think time is not time and space. It is the experience and the experience and the effort. Ooh, I know it's the experience. It's the experience and the indifference. There you go. That is actually what the space-time curve is the experience and indifference spinning like a gyro. And that's why it all is a spheroid. But, all right, I think I'm done for today. This did not go the way that I anticipated it. And still, I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's fun and exciting. All right, so I don't think I'm doing anything. That's coolio. Well, hopefully there's like sound, and you got a really cool picture of my bald spot on my head. That's kind of cool. But hey, whatever. There is no action without reaction. So as usual, react promptly, react with purpose, and if possible, act politely. Until next time.